And
Shalom, 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 everybody.
shalom, Shabbat shalom. Back once again, brothers and sisters. This is going to be part 4 to the End Time Revelation series, where we talk about the concession things of what's going on in Bible prophecy. All right, this is time. This is part of the End Time Revelation series playlist, and this is part 4. So what we did, we just got done with 3. We said we was going to come back with 4, and here it is. Right now, we're going to talk about the 1,000-year reign, the millennium.
Mhm.
All right. So hold tight to your seats. We got a lot of scriptures today, and a lot of precept upon precept, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. So let's do our prayer once again. Let's get our Shema in. We're going to dive right into the last part of the Bible study for today. All right? Stretch your hands and ready to receive. Shema Yashir Allah, Yahaya Allah Haya, Nawa Ahaya Ka. Hear, O Yashael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah is one. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodesh Haya Shemka, Ahaya Malakka, Taba'a, one Ka, Haya Isha, Ba Arataza, Kawa, Haya Ba, Shemayim, Laton La Nawa, Lafam Ka, Wayam, Wasalak, Chawawa Naya, Hasalak Nawa, Chawavya Nawa, Wala'a, Taba'ana Nawa, Banas Wayam, Abal Havasnara, Manra Kaya Laka Ha Malak Waha Allah, Waha Tapanaf, La Alanium, Aman.
Amen.
And so be it. Part 4. Only reason why we're doubling up today because we got a strike
Mhm.
and had to take down uh, Gog and Magog part 2 and have to do a retake.
Retake.
So we're going to do 2 at this time here. All right. So part 4, we're going to cover the millennium reign. Part 4, we're going to cover the millennium reign. 1,000-year reign with Yahusha. What does that mean? Who's going to be there? What is it going to be like? All right. So first, in the first section, let's define what it is. What is the millennium kingdom? What is it? Read along with me, brothers and sisters. The millennium kingdom is the title given to the 1,000-year reign of Yahusha on earth. Okay. The millennium kingdom is a specifically said to be 1,000 years 6 times in Revelation 20, verses 2 through 7. So now picking up back where we left off, I'm going to go over here and pick up Revelation 20, and we're going to read verses 2 through 7. Do you have it?
Yes.
All right, read.
It says, Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand the key of the bottom of the abyss and a heavy chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent that is the devil or Satan, and chained him up for 1,000 years.
Mhm.
The angel threw him into the abyss, locked it, and sealed it, so that he could not deceive the nations anymore until the 1,000 years were over.
Okay.
After that, he must be set loose for a little while.
Come on, verse 4.
Then I saw thrones, and those who sat on them were given the power to judge. I also saw the souls of those who had been executed because they had proclaimed the truth that Yahusha revealed and the word of Yahuwah, that they had that they had not worshipped the beast or its image, nor had they received the mark of the beast on their foreheads or their hands. They came to life and ruled as kings with Christ Yahushua HaMashiach for 1,000 years.
5.
The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were over. This is the first raising of the dead. Happy and greatly blessed are those who are included in the first resurrection of the dead. The second death has no power over them. They shall be priests of Yah and of Yahusha, and they will rule with him for 1,000 years.
Verse 7.
After the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be set loose from his prison, and he will go. Okay.
All right, verses 2 through 7. As you can see here, the millennium kingdom is specifically said to be 1,000 years. 6 times between verses 2 and 7, we heard 1,000 years, 1,000 years, 1,000 years, 1,000 years, 1,000 years. This is a literal time. Okay, let's keep reading. This millennium kingdom happens after the what? Tribulation and before the great white throne judgment. So after the tribulation, boom, you get the battle of Armageddon, Satan bound, and the great white throne judgment. All right. And before that, so in between what we just taught in section 3, part 3, which is what? It was oh my goodness. I just caught a blank.
Satan will be bound 1,000 years.
It was said to be bound 1,000 years, pardon me, brothers and sisters. And then you have the millennium kingdom, because there goes the peace. And then you're going to have the great white throne judgment. So now, during the millennium, Yahusha will reign as king over Israel and all the nations of the world. We're going to go to Isaiah 2 and 4. See, we're going to go here a little and there a little, and we're going to put all the pieces of this puzzle together. Do you have it?
Okay.
All right, read.
And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into plunging hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
None. Here's the peace. All right, I'm going to read chapter Isaiah 42 and verse 1.
Okay.
Behold, my servant, whom I uphold, my elect one, in whom my soul delights. I have put my ruach upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the other nations. The world will live in peace, brothers and sisters. Isaiah 11, 6 through 9. Let's read.
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb.
Come on.
And the leopard shall lie with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. That's the cobra den.
Come on, verse 9.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, the Most High, as the waters covers the sea.
Now, as you can see, this is peaceful. So the lion lays down with what he eats now. The lion and the sheep can lay side by side.
Right.
The young child can put his hand in a snake den and nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
Here's another example, another precept. This is Precept City today about the millennium kingdom. Isaiah 38 and 18.
And my,
go ahead, read.
And my people shall dwell in a peaceful habitation, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet, restful places.
There you go. That was Isaiah 32 and 18. Satan will be bound. You know that great chain? He gonna be bound. Let me pull up Revelation verse 20. And I'm trying not to hold you too long on this part 4, but it's so many precepts that, you know, we're not trying to hold you a good little minute, but get to the point. So Satan will be bound. Turn Revelation 21 through 3, and it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having a key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Verse 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed for a little season. not my words. These are the words of Yahuwah out of the book. Satan will be bound, and at the beginning, everyone will worship Yahusha. Back to Isaiah chapter 2, verses 2 and 3.
It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Most High's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Most High, to the house of Yah of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem.
Exactly.
From Jerusalem.
All nations, everyone will worship Yahuwah in the beginning. Just like right at the beginning, after the flood. See, they hadn't forgot about what Yahuwah had done and what he's all about. He's a Yah mercy, but he's also a Yah wrath. So now the first section of this study, it explains what the millennium kingdom is. In Revelation 22 through 7, it's a literal 1,000 years. It says it 6 times. All right. It says where it is. After the Great Tribulation, right? Satan bound, then the millennium, and then the great white throne judgment, and all nations will worship. All right? Section number 2, the purpose of the 1,000-year reign. What is the purpose? The purpose of the 1,000-year reign is to fulfill various promises. Now listen to this. Pay close attention to this, brothers. If you don't write down now another precept today, write these down, because this is going to bring you joy. The purpose of the 1,000-year reign is to fulfill various promises Yah made to the world. Some of these promises, called covenants, were given specifically to Israel, the 12 tribes. Others were given to Yahusha, the nations of the world, and creation. So let me repeat this one more time. What was the purpose of the 1,000-year reign? And we're going to get into the covenants and all that in just a minute. One, he made promises to the world. He called covenants. Some of them were given to Israel, Jacob, 12 tribes, and his son. Others was given to his son, Yahusha. Some was given to the nations of the world, and some was given to creation. So now the next question you may ask, who will occupy the millennium kingdom? Who's going to be there? The millennium kingdom is the future reign of Yahusha on earth as he sits, keyword, on David's throne in Jerusalem. Everyone who enters that kingdom will be redeemed by Yah and therefore righteous. Precept time. Isaiah 35. You want me to get that?
8 through 10.
8 through 10. Read.
And an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those the wayfaring men, though fools, shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there, and the ransom of the Most High shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and signing shall flee away.
As you can see, it said the redeemed, the righteous. These are the ones who will occupy the millennium kingdom. Among those redeemed, there will be 2 distinct groups of people. Remember this. One, And I know this is where it gets kind of tricky, and this is where your mind is probably going to just go all over the place. But you know what? We don't do what Yahuwah does. He does the foolish things to confound the wise. Just like you can take the Ezekiel 37 and you talk about those dry bones, but those dry bones aren't literal, they're spiritual. The 12 tribes are waking up. They know who they are. No more lies. So now, who are these two distinct groups that's reigning? Who are the redeemed ones that's reigning and the righteous one that's reigning with Christ in the millennium kingdom? Number one, it's those with glorified physical bodies. That sounds, but it is what it is. Number two, those with natural earthly bodies. You see, because there are going to be some people that make it through the tribulation with that same body that has been redeemed. You see, Matthew 24 and 13 or 24 and 18 says, those who endure to the end shall be saved. So you got some of the ones, remember, the first resurrection. You got the ones that came back to life. So these are the glorified physical bodies. Because if you remember the first and second resurrection, the first resurrection are those who got martyred, the dead in Christ. When they got to rise and look like something. These are the glorified physical bodies, and those with natural earthly bodies are the ones that made it through the tribulation. All right? If you're wondering about the first resurrection, brothers and sisters, go back to part 1. I suggest don't skip parts. Start with 1 and catch up to part 4 now. So, two distinct groups of people. Number one, those with glorified physical bodies and those with natural earthly bodies. Because there are going to be some, they're going to rise with Christ, come down with the millennium. Remember, he's going to take care of Satan. The angel going to bind him up. The dead in Christ going to rise. The one that got martyred going to rise. And they're going to have a glorified physical body. And then you're going to have the ones that stood in the midst of all. Now listen to this. Those who occupy the millennium kingdom with glorified bodies can be divided into 3 subgroups. Check this out. Pray for some understanding here because I did before I taught it. Before we teaching it right now, brothers and sisters. Here we go. Number 1, the church, whose bodies were either resurrected or changed. If you don't grab what I'm saying about the changed, we taught this in the first resurrection Bible study. Number 1, 3 groups, 3 subgroups of the glorified bodies. 1, the church, whose bodies were either resurrected or changed. 1 Thessalonians 4. Let's get it.
Okay.
I got it. 1 Thessalonians, I'm going to give Nabi a break today because we got
nothing. 1 Thessalonians 4, 13 to 18.
Yes.
I got you. It says, our friends, we want you to know the truth about those who have died.
Come on.
So that you will not be sad, as are those who have no hope. We believe that YAHUSHA died and rose again. And so we believe that Yah will take back with YAHUSHA those who have died believing in him.
Come on.
What we are teaching you now is the Most High's teaching. We who are alive on the day of the Most High, of the day of the Lord Most High comes, will not go ahead of those who have died.
Come on.
There would be the shout of command, the archangel's voice, the sound of Yah's trumpet, and the Most High himself will come down from heaven. Hold
on. Now, let me read this. Let me read 16 to you. And she's going to continue with 17. For Yahuwah
himself
shall descend from heaven with a shout, with a voice of an archangel and with a shofar of Elohim, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Go ahead, 17.
And it says, then we who are living at that time will be gathered up along with them in the clouds to meet the Most High in the air, or meet Yahusha in the air.
That's right.
And so we will always be with the Yahusha. We will Yahusha. So then, encouraging one another with these words.
Exactly. So 3 subgroups. 1, the church, either the resurrected or the changed. Oh man, it's gonna be good today, y'all. Write that down. 1 Thessalonians 4:13 through 18. Number 2 subgroup is who? The tribulation martyrs. Remember? The ones who got unalived? Who are resurrected after Yahushua returns to earth. Revelation, I got it there, Nabi.
24 through 6.
24 through 6, read.
Okay, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahusha and for the word of Yah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahusha 1,000 years.
Come on, verse 5.
But the rest of the dead lived not until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
Come on, 6.
Blessed and holy is he
That's right.
that has part in the first resurrection. On such, the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of Yah and of Yahusha, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
All right. Key word here. And I saw thrones. Now this is what John the Revelator saw. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, the judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahusha and for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or their hands, and they lived and reigned with Mashiach for 1,000 years. So that's the other group. The martyrs, the ones that were unalive because of the faith. What's the third subgroup there, Elder Safar? The Old Testament saints, who we assume are resurrected at the same time. Daniel 12:2. Read.
Many of those who have already died will live again.
Say that one more time.
Many of those who have already died will live again.
Come on.
Some will enjoy eternal life, and some will suffer eternal disgrace.
So now we got 3 subgroups. Take a minute and write this down, brothers and sisters, in your notepad, or however you take your notes, and then fact check them, or test the spirit by the spirit according to these precepts here. Number 1, you got those with glorified physical bodies in the millennial kingdom. 2, then you have those with natural earthly bodies, because we know the great tribulation, there are going to be people that make it and endure to the end, and they shall be saved. So since they're saved, they're going to reign with Yahusha. So then you have the 3 subcategories from the glorified physical bodies that you may be confused about. Well, here's the confusion corrector. Number 1, the church, whose bodies were either resurrected or changed. The tribulation martyrs, who are resurrected after Yahushua returns to earth. And then 3, the Old Testament saints that Sister Nabia just said we're going to live again, who are assumed are resurrected at the same time. Daniel 12:2. Bullet point. Those who occupy the kingdom with earthly bodies that have survived the tribulation, okay, and can be subdivided into 2 groups. So now we got the 3 out of the glorified physical bodies. And now we're going to do the two groups out of the natural earthly bodies. Brothers and sisters, here it goes. They're going to be the believing Jews, the Israelites, the ones that are following following the laws, statutes, commandments, and living in the truth, and also the believing Gentiles. As you can see, that's following the laws, statutes, and commandments, and that are in the truth, brothers and sisters. It's just not the 12 tribes of Israel. It's all that believe on the word of Yah, live by the word of Yah, live by the statutes and commandments that our Creator has given us. All right? Because this is Romans 11 in full effect. Here we go. So, two groups: those who occupy the kingdom with earthly bodies that have survived the tribulation, so which means these are natural bodies, right?
Natural.
They can be divided into two, both Jew and Gentile that believe. All right? Moving forward. Now, got a lot to cover, and I'm really trying to get through it. We got a lot of precepts here. So the next bullet point. So those who occupy the millennial kingdom at the start, check it out, would be the righteous from all previous generations. Number one, the redeemed Israel in earthly bodies. Number two, the resurrected believers. Number three, the believing Gentiles in earthly bodies. So this is who is going to occupy the millennial kingdom with Christ sitting on the throne of David. That's going to be a beautiful sight. In peace, because Satan's bound for 1,000 years. Moving forward, those who occupy the millennial kingdom will be from many nations. See, believing Jews and the believing Gentiles in the earthly bodies, and also the ones that were believing then and the ones that was unalive from then, from the 12 tribes and also from the Gentiles. You see? But the knowledge of Yahusha will be universal. Precept Habakkuk 2 and 14. Read.
For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Most High, the Elohim, as the waters cover the sea.
Oh, and that's a lot of water.
A lot of water.
It's going to be universal. It's not going to be this 1,000 ways to this and this foolishness that they're coming up with now, and all these religions and stuff you come together. No. There's no deception in the millennium. You can find that in Habakkuk 2 and 14. Also, during the millennial kingdom, the saints in earthly natural bodies will enjoy long lives.
Long lives.
Well, where do you find that out, Elder Safar? Isaiah 65 and 20. Read.
It says, babies will no longer die.
Come on.
In infancy, and all people will live out their lifespan. Those who live to be 100 will be considered young. To die before that would be a sign that I had punished them.
As you can see. So we going back. Remember, we going back to that period where Methuselah and all the ancestors and people lived 300, 400, 500 years. You're still a baby when you're 100. Ain't that something, brothers and sisters? And they will produce children. By the end of the 1,000 years, come on, walk with me, the world will be fully populated, and there are many.
Fully populated.
Revelation 20:7 and 8.
It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired,
come on,
okay, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Come on.
And shall go out to deceive the nations.
Come on.
Which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog together together to battle, the numbers of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Right. So as you can see, in the millennium kingdom, there's going to be a separation still. It's going to be just like this, but peaceful. It's kind of hard to conceive, but you let the Bible interpret itself, brothers and sisters, and don't take it no further.
Mm-hmm.
Children born during the millennium kingdom will have the responsibility to exercise faith in Yahusha. Now, pay attention to this. The same as all people of past ages, right? So you're still going to have a choice. Who you going to worship? What side are you on? All right? Some of those born during the millennium kingdom would choose not to believe. See, still got your free will. This is why scripture speaks of those who die under the curse. And we read that in Isaiah 65 and 20 already. See, these are the ones that you're going to notice. They're going to die early. See, it's going to be nothing for you to live a baby. You're still a baby if you're 100. But people around you are going to know, oh, she died at 60. Oh, man, something's wrong. She's cursed. And why Yahusha have consequences for the nation that do not worship him. The prophet Zechariah 14 and 17. Read.
It says, if any nation refuse to go and worship the Most High Elohim as king, I'll just do it this way. If any nation refuses to go and worship the Yahushua HaMashiach as king, then rain will not fall on their land.
Exactly. So what's that? You're not going to be prosperous. You're going to die just like a plant with no water. So that's what's going to happen. If you're 100 years old, you're still considered a baby during this time. But you're going to be cursed if you choose not to worship him. Then guess what? You're not going to prosper. So this section we talked about those who are going to be there, who's going to occupy the millennium kingdom. And this, according to the precepts, according to the scriptures, two distinct people, those with glorified physical bodies and those with natural earthly bodies. All right? Three subgroups from the glorified bodies: the church, the tribulation martyrs, and the Old Testament saints. Right? And now we have two subdivided from the natural bodies: the believing Jews and the believing Gentile. So this is who's going to occupy the millennium kingdom. Now, let's move forward to the next section. Moving along pretty good. Brothers and sisters, if you have to, stop, rewind this. But we're trying to shorten the video some so that, you won't lose your attention span, because people seem to, they can go other places and stay 2-3 hours with no problem, go to a concert or something. But when it comes to things of the Most High, you can only put in 15-20 minutes, some less than that. So, I'm going to do you a favor and trim it down a little, okay? But you got to get this. So now, what were the promises? What were the covenants? Right? What were the covenants given? And we talked about those covenants where they went in the first section right there. So let's touch base on them. Number one, land covenant. There was a land covenant given in Deuteronomy 30:1 and 10.
And it says,
read.
I have now given you a choice between a blessing and a curse.
Come on.
When all these things have happened to you, and you are living among the nations where the Most High, your Yah, has scattered you, you will remember the choice I gave you.
Come on.
If you and your descendants will turn back to the Most High and with all your heart, obey his commands that I am giving you today, then the Most High your Yah will have mercy on you. He will bring you back from the nations where he has scattered you, and he will make you prosperous again. Even if you are scattered to the farthest corners of the earth, the Most High your Yah will gather you together and bring you back, so that you may again take possession of the land where your ancestors once lived.
Stop right there. Now repeat that one more time. The land covenant. Read.
So that you may again take possession of the land where your ancestors once lived. Okay. And it says, and he will make you more prosperous and more numerous than your ancestors ever were. The Most High your Yah will give you and your descendants obedient hearts, so that you will love him with all your heart, and you will continue to live in that land.
Verse 7.
He will turn all these curses against you, against your enemies. He will turn all these curses against your enemies who hated you and oppressed you, and you will again obey him and keep all his commands that I am giving you today. The Most High will make you prosper in all that you do. You will have many children and a lot of livestock, and your fields will produce abundant crops. He will be as glad to make you prosperous as he was to make your ancestors prosperous.
Verse 10.
But you will have to obey him and keep all his laws that are written in this book of his teachings. You will have to turn to him with all of your heart,
as you can see, and your soul. So there was a land covenant given to the Israelites in Deuteronomy 30, 1-10. And the reason why the Israelites are scattered to this day in the four corners of earth, because they were disobedient. But you can remember Ezekiel 38 talks about the gathering and bringing his people back to the covenant that he gave us. In Deuteronomy, he's going to circumcise our hearts again. Give us the truth. Wake up the bones so that this land covenant, I feel the spirit, or this promise, brothers and sisters, shall be fulfilled. And it's nothing or nobody or no devil in hell that can stop it. It's the land covenant. When the 12 tribes of Israel and Jacob's hearts get circumcised again, and they go back and do better than their fathers and their ancestors, we shall inherit our land again. And we know what that is. We know where it is. That was the land covenant given. Yahuwah has already fulfilled the aspects of the Abrahamic covenant. Abraham did go to the promised land. He did have many descendants, and he is the forefather of many nations. Several hundred years after Abraham, Joshua led the Israelites to claim ownership of the promised land. But Israel never possessed the specific boundaries that Yah promised in Genesis 15, 18-20. And let me read in KJV. Genesis chapter 18. These are the specific boundaries, brothers and sisters, and this is where you can find it. Genesis 15, 18-20, and it reads, on the same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, to your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Hammonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Ammonites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. All right? This is a certain area that we never possessed. And Numbers 34, one moment.
1-12.
1-12. You got it?
Yes.
Read it.
It says, the Most High gave Moses the following instructions for the people of Israel. When you enter Canaan the land which I am giving you. The borders of your territory will be as follows.
Come on.
The southern border will extend from the wilderness of Zin along the borders of Edom. It will begin on the east of the southern end of the Dead Sea. Then it will turn southward toward Arabian Pass,
Okay.
and continue on through Zin as far south as Kadesh Barnea. Then it will turn northwest to Hazar Adar and on to Asmon, where it will turn toward the valley at the border of Egypt and end of the Mediterranean. Okay, and it says the western border will be the Mediterranean Sea. The northern border will follow a line from the Mediterranean to Mount Hor.
Come on.
And from there to Hamath Pass. It will continue to Zedad and to Ziphron and will end at Hazar Enan. The eastern border will follow a line from Hazar Enan to Sephram.
Okay.
It will then go south to Harbel, east of An, and on this hill and on the hills of the southern shore of the lake Galilee. Then south along the Jordan River to the Dead Sea. These will be the four borders of your land.
As you can see, there were specific and a lot that we couldn't pronounce, but I think you understand.
I got it.
You get the concept, okay?
Yeah.
Israel has never possessed these specific borders. Never. That Yah promised.
Mm-hmm.
It's written here.
Mm-hmm.
So now, not even Solomon ruled over this specific area. So now I'm going to get that out of 1 Kings. One moment. Not even Solomon.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I want to go down just to get them the names of the tribes.
Go ahead.
You know, the Lord said to Moses, as there are the priests, and Joshua, son of Nun, will divide the land for the people. Take also one leader from each tribe to help them divide it. These are the men the Most High chose.
Exactly.
Tribe of Judah, the leader. Okay, that's Caleb, son of Zephaniah, and then Simeon, and then Benjamin, and then Dan, Manasseh, Ephraim, Zebulun. I'm sorry, Issachar, Asher, and Naphtali.
These were the 12 tribes.
12 tribes of Israel.
Right? But not only that, Solomon did not rule over these particular areas. Right? 1 Kings 4:21 through 24.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And it reads, so Solomon reigned over all the kingdoms from the river to the land of the Philistines, as far as the border of Egypt.
Mm.
They brought tribute and served Solomon all the days of his life. Now Solomon's provision for one day was 30 cores of fine flour, 20 cores of meal, 10 fatted oxen, 20 oxen from the pastures, and 100 sheep, besides deer, gazelles, roebucks, and fatted fowl. Verse 24, for he had dominion over all the region of this side of the river of the Tigris, even to Gaza, namely over all the kings of this side of the river, and he had peace on every side all around him. So even after all of that, Solomon still did not possess these specific borders that Yahuwah promised. Not as of yet. But guess what? During the millennial kingdom, we will. Everything that we just read in Genesis 15, 8 through 20, and Numbers 34, 1 through 12, it shall come to pass, because this is the what? The land covenant.
Mm-hmm.
This is the promise. This is what he promised. You was promised that we will have those lands even to the specific borders, right? Although, now we're talking about Solomon here now, although he did reign from the river of Egypt to the Euphrates, he did not hold the area. Remember what Sister Nabi said? From Mount Hor to Mount Hazarenan.
Mhm.
He didn't. Back to Numbers chapter 34, 7 through 9. Read.
It says the northern border will follow a line from the Mediterranean to Mount Hor. From there to Hamath Pass. It will continue to Zedad and to Zepharon and will end at Hazar Enan. The eastern border.
That's it.
Okay.
So he still didn't possess that. To this present day, that's what? Modern day Lebanon and Syria, where those things are falling out the sky, where the WAR is. See, since the strike, brothers and sisters, I'm learning how to talk on YouTube. All right. Certain things we can't say, but you got to follow with me here. So from Mount Hor to Mount Hazarenan, which is present day Lebanon and Syria, Solomon didn't have that, even though he had all what he had. He still did not possess certain borders. But during the Millennium Kingdom, we will. Moving forward. Here is the area that we're talking about here. Right here. See? We know about Damascus, but none of these borders right here, David, Solomon, Abraham, never got there, never possessed it. But during the Millennium Kingdom, we will, brothers and sisters, all of it. Even to Gaza, which is right up in here somewhere. But never this, King Solomon. Now, number two, we're talking about the promises in the covenant now. Number two, we're talking about the Davidic covenant. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 12 through 17. You got it? All right, read.
When you die and are buried with your ancestors, I will make one of your sons king and will keep his kingdom strong. He will be the one to build a temple for me, and I will make sure that his destiny continues forever. I will be his father, and he will be my son. When he does wrong, I will punish him as a father punishes his son. But I will not withdraw my support from him as I did from Saul, whom I removed, so that you could be king. You will always have descendants, and I will make your kingdom last forever. Your destiny will never end. Nathan told David everything that Yah had revealed to him.
So as you can see, this is a what? A Davidic covenant. So Yahuwah gave a land covenant, a Davidic covenant. Well, what is that, Elder Safar? Let's go through it here. Yah's covenant with David was that his line would never die out, and that David's heir would sit on the throne of Israel forever. 2 Samuel 7 and 16.
Says it again. You will always have descendants, and I will make your kingdom last forever. Your destiny will never end.
Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. So Yahuwah, the Davidic covenant, is another promise. Yahusha is the fulfillment of that covenant. You know why? Because he's going to sit on that throne during the Millennium Kingdom. The Israelites expected him to be a military, political leader that will liberate them from the Romans and make Israel a great nation again. But they didn't understand the nature of Yahusha's work at the time was for a new covenant, not the Davidic covenant. Follow me here. The 1,000-year reign will be the beginning of Yahusha's reign over Israel and the earth. Revelation 24 and 6.
It says, and I saw thrones, And they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahusha and for the word of Yah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahusha 1,000 years. And it says, blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of Yah and of Yahusha, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
You see, the 1,000-year reign will be it will be the beginning of Yahusha's reign over Israel and the earth. Revelation 20:4-6. Third promise was the new covenant. All right. So we had the land covenant, we got the Davidic covenant, and now we have the new covenant. Jeremiah. Bear with us, brothers and sisters. We flipping one page at a time. I can get it.
I got it.
All right. 31 through 34.
Okay. Behold, the days come, said the Most High, that I would make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Come on.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they broke.
Come on.
Although I was an husband unto them, says the Most High. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days.
Say it again. After those days.
After
come on.
Those days.
Come on.
Says the Most High. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Yah, and they shall be my people.
34.
And they shall teach no more. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, No, now the Most High, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them shall the Most High, for I will forgive their iniquities, and I will remember their sins no more.
You see, that new covenant right there should bring you joy.
So he's not going to remember their sins no more.
No more. And we've done a lot from our ancestors all the way down to now. See, I'm going to lay my law on your heart.
You're going to know.
And you're going to listen. You're going to Shema, O Israel. Even to the Gentile. Well, what is the new covenant, Elder Safar? The work of the new covenant, Yahusha's death and resurrection to reconcile hearts to Yahuwah, has been accomplished. During this millennial kingdom, this has been accomplished. Isaiah 59:20-21.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, says the Most High. As for me, this is my covenant with them, says the Most High. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, says the Most High, for henceforth and forever.
So this is all you're going to be talking about, the word. He's going to put it there, and it's going to stay there. You're not going to have no one to deceive you. Satan's battle. This is 1,000 years of peace, but you still have a choice. Who you going to worship? Back it up. So the work of the new covenant, Yahusha's death and resurrection to reconcile hearts to Yahuwah, has been accomplished. Isaiah 59:20-21 explains that this covenant is possible because of the Redeemer. And the reconciliation that he provides will last forever. This covenant does not mean that every Jew, listen to me not, listen to me. I'm sorry, listen to me, not listen to me not, but listen to me. This covenant does not mean that every Jew will be saved. Because you're going to have some that's going to fall with Babylon because they won't come out of it.
You can't let it
They love it so much that they just can't let it go. And although that's their choice, but it's a bad one. There's some Gentiles that's not going to be able to come out and begin to believe. That's their choice. So this covenant does not mean that every Jew will be saved. But it does mean that Israel as a nation will truly worship their Messiah. They will be in the 1,000-year reign with Yahusha. And number 4, other promises. What does that mean? Above are the covenants that Yahuwah made with Israel fulfilled in Yahusha's 1,000-year reign. So let's go back through them once again. Number 1, the land covenant. All right. It was certain borders that they never possessed. And we showed you these borders right up in here. The land covenant, we're going to possess it all. And Yahusha is going to sit on the throne of David in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the Davidic covenant was about what? Your line will never die. Number 3, what we talk about, the new covenant, right? The death and resurrection, reconcile hearts to Yahuwah. All that you have done, your iniquities will be forgiven. Turn, change, come back to me, and I will save your soul. This is what Yahushua is saying. If you have made it all the way to the end and say you part of the Gentiles and have a choice not to worship him, you still got a chance before that great white throne judgment. Number 4, there were other promises. So now we already talked about that. Above are the covenants that Yahuwah made with Israel that are to be fulfilled in Yahusha's 1,000-year reign. But the Bible lists other promises that will be fulfilled too. Psalms 110:1 reads,
The Most High said unto Yahusha, set thy at my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool.
enemies will be your footstool. So now, Daniel 7:9-14, you don't have to read it. It talks about Yah promised the nations will live in peace with Yahusha as their leader. You know what? We better do it.
What's that?
Because somebody might say they made that up.
What is
Go
that?
to Daniel
Daniel's.
chapter 7:9-14. I can get it.
Okay.
Daniel 14:7. I'm sorry.
7.
9-14. I got it here. Nabi Yah.
It says,
Go ahead.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did set.
Come on.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Wait a minute. I need you to read that with some understanding. Start it over.
Okay. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Come on.
And the Ancient of Days
Come on.
did set.
Come on.
Whose garment was white as snow.
Come on.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Come on.
His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels are burning fire, or as burning fire. A furious steam issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000s times 10,000s stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
Verse 11.
I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spoke. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, and yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
13.
I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man come with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given to him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and tongues should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
So now, other promises. Yah promised the nations will live in peace with Yahusha as their ruler. Verse 14, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages shall serve him. His dominion is everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. That is a promise. You make it to the millennium kingdom, this is what you get.
Glory. Hallelujah. That's an awesome promise.
You see? That's why when I read it, I have to read it with excitement.
Oh, yes.
With authority, because this is a promise. This is what should soothe our soul right now. Not to be worried about a WAR or who's doing this or who's doing that. Know what Yahuwah has promised you through his son. And make a decision where you're going to be at. What side you're going to be on. Because these promises say I last, I live forever. During the millennium, if I'm 80, if I'm 40, if I'm 20, guess what? I can possibly do 1,000 more years on top of what I've already survived it through. Ain't that something?
That's awesome.
Woo. Now,
deep revelation.
Romans 8:18 through 23 promise creation that the curse would be lifted.
Oh, yes.
Romans 8.
It says, for I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
Come on.
For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of Yah. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yah.
Give that to him one more time, verse 21.
Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yah. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now.
Come on, 23.
And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
You see, that's a promise. That is a promise. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into glorious liberty of the children of Elohim. No more this bound. I can't shake this thing or this and that. That's over. That's another promise. Now, moving forward, Isaiah 11:6-9 says, animals and the earth restored to peace and prosperity. Isaiah 11:6-9. Read.
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the oxen.
Boy.
And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den.
Come on.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Most High as the waters cover the sea.
Ain't that awesome? Peace on the earth will be restored, and so is the prosperity. All right. Got another one for you. Ezekiel 34 and 16. This is the last one. Free from diseases. Ezekiel 34. I'll get that.
Got that one.
Ezekiel 34 and verse 16. Got you right here. 34 and 16. Here we go. I will seek that which was lost and bring again that which was driven away, and will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong, and I will feed them with judgment. Brothers and sisters, I know we ran through this so fast, but this is the good part about technology. Even if you're at work, you can pause it. You can rewind it. You can fast forward. You can say, well, what did Sister Nabia say? Back it up, play it again. Well, let me see if that's what the Bible says. Go to the precept.
Go to the cross-reference.
These are the promises, brothers and sisters. Now, I'm going to do this real quick, and we're going to wrap this Bible study up because I don't want to hold you too long. This is part 4, the millennium reign. Number 1, we talked about this. What is the millennium? Right? Who's going to be there? From the beginning. What is the millennium kingdom? It's a 1,000-year reign of peace. Find this 6 times in Revelation 20:2-7. So this is the millennium, the 1,000 years of peace. It's in between the great tribulation, Satan being bound, and the great white throne judgment. So in between here is the millennium reign. So now, what's the purpose? To fulfill various promises that he promised. Creation, nations of the world, Israel, and Yahusha. Because he promised his son would sit where? On the throne of David in Jerusalem. Now, who will occupy? Just giving a brief summary. Who will occupy? 2 distinctive groups. Those with glorified physical bodies and those with natural earthly bodies. So these 2 groups also have subgroups. So let's look at the 3 subgroups from the glorified bodies. The church, the tribulation martyrs, and the Old Testament saints. And here are the precepts. So now there's 2 subsections under the ones with the natural earthly bodies, the believing Jews and the believing Gentiles. So now, what are the covenants that were made? Right here, aka the promises. The land covenant, Deuteronomy 31-10. Now there were also borders that were not possessed even back then that's going to be possessed in the millennium kingdom. Here are the precepts that talks about that. All right, there's an example of the area. Modern day Lebanon and Syria. Could this be the reason why that's going on over there? Could this be Bible prophecy at its finest? You tell me. I already know what it is. Right. Number 2, the Davidic covenant was saying what? That his line would never die out and that David's heir would sit on the throne of Israel forever. Number 3, the new covenant. And what would the new covenant talk about? I'm going to bring your Redeemer. I'm going to circumcise your heart. I'm going to reconciliate my people back to me. And they're going to live with me forever. But not all of them. Because some of them ain't going to make it because of disobedience still. Now, there were other promises, right, that we talked about. Enemy is his footstool. He said, Yah promised that the nations would live in peace with Yahusha as their ruler. Promised that what? Creation, that the curse would be lifted. So, which means, guess what? You're going to be able to, if you're 100 years old, you're still going to be a baby,
Mm-hmm.
right? The animals and the earth restored to peace and prosperity,
Mm-hmm.
and then free from diseases. Brothers and sisters, I got to say this.
Wow.
All praises to Yahuwah.
All praises.
This is what gives me hope. You turn on the TV and you watch what's going on. You got to rejoice because Bible prophecy is coming to life.
Yes, it's being fulfilled.
This is our history book right here, brothers and sisters. History at its finest. And if I'm going to believe something, I'm going to believe what this says. I'm going to go continue to search. I'm sorry, Matthew 7:7, ask, seek, and knock. Brothers and sisters, I know that was fast track millennium. But the power of technology is that you can stop it
and go back to it later.
That's right. You can pause it, pick it back up, rewind it, fast forward, do whatever you need to do. But I suggest you get this. And I encourage you to like and share this one, part 4. Anything you want to add there, Nabi?
Yeah, this is real good information, knowledge. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and we try to get it all in. So
good job, by the way.
Thank you.
I know.
I got better glasses this
good
time.
Job.
Because normally my glasses, I can't see the words. I be just, but I got better glasses this time. But yeah, it's just good food, good nuggets for your heart.
I'm encouraged just by listening to the promises. I got to hold on tight to the word, you see, and do it to the end. If that's my purpose here, I'm not sure what my purpose is. But until then, I'm going to do what he told me to do, be a disciple.
It's just like a marriage covenant. We weren't supposed to be divorcing. We do it. You can. It's a free will, and you can be forgiven according to the word. So the marriage covenant is still a covenant between the Most High and his creation, his people.
That's right.
So we have a choice. Do we want to divorce the Most High, or do we want to keep covenant, stay married, stay connected to the true vine? That's it, brothers and sisters. Part 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and pray.
All right, let's do it. And let's release some.
Yes, Father, I thank you for your anointing. Yes. I thank you for release, Father. I thank you, Father. They will hear the word, and the word of truth will make them whole.
Yes.
They will be healed. They will be set free. They will retain knowledge in their hearts. They will understand. And Father, they will have wisdom beyond their years. And Father, I just pray that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. I call them blessed going out and blessed coming in. Father, I thank you that they have more than enough because you are Yah that is more than enough. I thank you, Father, that they experience the abundant life, the reason why YAHUSHA come, that we may have life and have it more abundantly. I pray, Father, they will seek after you with all their heart, mind, soul, and body, and they will love you. And because they love you so much, they will keep your commandments, your laws, statutes, and commandments. And they will do what you have called them to do, because you have a plan for them. And it's not to harm them, but to help them. Father, you have a plan. And Father, I pray right now that your plan is in effect in every one of the viewers' lives. Father, I thank you that is your will and not our permissive, but your sovereign. In the mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Brothers and sisters, this video too will be added to the End Time Revelation series. I suggest that you go back and watch them in succession, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that you can get an understanding and write down everything and that you can follow us. Next week, we're going to talk about the New Jerusalem. All right, what it looks like and what to expect. Brothers and sisters, tawada for tuning in, and shalom.